Tensura x Villainess by Rimu-chi. Third person POV. Yumilia sat frozen in the academy's bustling cafeteria, now eerily silent as dozens of students stared at her with wide eyes. The once lively atmosphere had turned tense, whispers spreading like wildfire across the room. The scent of freshly cooked meals lingered in the air, but Yumilia barely noticed. Her hands clenched into fists beneath the wooden table, its surface cool under her trembling fingers. Ilaria remained composed beside her, while Serafina, Rimuru's ever-loyal maid, stood like an unmoving shadow behind the princess. Across from her, Alicia's serious gaze never wavered, waiting for an answer. The weight of countless eyes bore down on Yumilia, making the spacious cafeteria feel suffocatingly small. Yumilia exhaled slowly, steadying herself before meeting Alicia's unwavering eyes. "What makes you think that?" she asked, her voice firm yet calm. Alicia took a deep breath before responding, "It's because you have black hair, black eyes, and can use dark magic." Yumilia sighed, her patience thinning. "So you're saying I am the demon lord just because of my appearance and my magic nature?" Her voice carried a hint of amusement, but beneath it lay an unmistakable edge. Ilaria smiled softly, her tone gentle yet measured. "Yes, she does have the appearance of the so-called demon lord, but I do not believe Miss Yumilia is one." Serafina, standing tall, interjected with a polite yet icy tone. "My apologies, but may I remind you, Lady Alicia, that my master, Rimuru-sama, also has black hair and has declared himself the demon lord." Alicia hesitated but then nodded. "I know, but Rimuru-san is different." Serafina's eyes sharpened, and her tone grew more pointed. "I'm sorry, what, Rimuru-san? My master has never permitted you to address him so informally, has he?" Alicia's face flushed. "No, but..." Before she could finish, Serafina cut in, her voice laced with quiet authority. "If you know that, then I strongly suggest you never call my master like that again." "That's enough, Serafina," Yumilia said, sighing. Serafina stepped back slightly. "My apologies, Lady Yumilia." Yumilia turned back to Alicia, her gaze steady. "Mind telling me what you actually know about the demon lord?" Alicia nodded and took a deep breath. "I know that the demon lord will rise 2 years from now." Yumilia crossed her arms. "So you think I am the demon lord, is that right?" Alicia looked down, hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Yumilia sighed again, already exhausted by the conversation. Ilaria, maintaining her innocent act, tilted her head and asked, "Miss Alicia, who told you about the demon lord?" "That information was supposed to be a secret." Alicia bit her lip before answering, "Prince Edwin told me." Yumilia let out an exasperated sigh. "Prince Edwin is an idiot. Why did he tell you that?" Ilaria, ever the picture of refined grace, spoke in a soft voice. "Miss Alicia is not entirely wrong, though. Miss Yumilia does have the appearance of a demon lord and can use dark magic, but..." Yumilia studied Ilaria carefully. "Is she trying to imply that I really am the demon lord?" I knew I couldn't trust her. She sighed again and turned to Alicia. "Listen, Alicia, I may have black hair, dark magic, and all that, but I am not the demon lord." Suddenly, Alicia slammed her hands on the table and shouted, "How can you say such cruel things to me, Yumilia-chan?" Yumilia blinked, momentarily stunned by Alicia's dramatic reaction. Serafina narrowed her eyes in confusion, but Ilaria understood immediately. Her lips curled into the faintest of smirks, barely noticeable, but the glint in her eyes betrayed her amusement. As if perfectly timed, the doors to the cafeteria swung open, and Prince Edwin, Oswald, and William strode in. Alicia's fake tears sparkled under the light, and Edwin immediately rushed to her side, pulling her into a protective embrace. "Alicia, what happened?" Edwin demanded, his voice laced with concern. Oswald glared at Yumilia. "How could you do something so cruel to her?" William, never one to hold back, slammed his hand on the table. "I knew it. You were the demon lord all along." Yumilia closed her eyes, inhaling deeply before exhaling through her nose. "This again." Serafina remained still, but the air around her grew heavier. Her usual composed expression darkened, and if one looked closely, they might have seen a flicker of genuine annoyance in her crimson eyes. "Are you accusing Lady Yumilia based on nothing more than hearsay?" she asked coolly. Ilaria, ever the cunning schemer, wore a perfect mask of concern. "Prince Edwin, Oswald, Sir William, I do understand your worries. After all, the idea of a demon lord emerging within our academy is terrifying. She placed a gentle hand on Edwin's arm as if to calm him. But please, let us not be hasty. Edwin clenched his jaw but did not immediately respond, distracted by Alicia's sniffling. Meanwhile, the students in the cafeteria buzzed with murmurs. Is Yumilia really the demon lord? She does have black hair and dark magic. But Lady Ilaria seems to be defending her. Prince Edwin looks furious. This could be serious. Yumilia, feeling the weight of their gazes and the suffocating atmosphere, massaged her temples. This was ridiculous. Alicia continued to sob softly, clinging onto Edwin as if she were the true victim. Ilaria subtly watched the scene unfold, amusement flickering in her eyes despite her outward display of concern. Serafina, meanwhile, was beginning to lose her patience. My master would not appreciate baseless accusations thrown around so carelessly, she stated coldly. Yumilia, at her limit, finally stood up. Enough. Her voice, firm yet controlled, silenced the murmurs. Her dark eyes locked onto Alicia's, then shifted to Edwin, Oswald, and William. If you wish to accuse me of being the demon lord, then bring me solid proof. Edwin opened his mouth to retort, but Yumilia cut him off with a sharp glare. Until then, stop wasting my time. The cafeteria remained silent, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Dozens of students held their breath, their wide eyes darting between the figures standing at the center of the conflict. The scent of warm meals still lingered in the air, but no one dared to move or take a bite. All focus remained on the confrontation unfolding before them. Edwin stepped forward, his voice firm and unwavering. I believed you weren't the demon lord because my father, the king, told me to. But I no longer believe that. His gaze was cold, piercing straight through Yumilia. Oswald, the arrogant mage, sneered. There is no one else who could become the demon lord but you. William slammed his hand on the table. That's what I've been saying all this time. If we get rid of her, we won't have to worry about the demon lord ever appearing. Yumilia's expression twisted in disbelief. Are you guys going crazy? Serafina sighed, crossing her arms. I should report this to Rimuru-sama. Before she could act, Edwin took another step forward, his voice rising. Don't you dare talk to us like that after what you said to my Alicia. You and that Rimuru are both threats to us. It's better if. A cold, sharp sound sliced through the tension as something metallic touched Edwin's throat. A claw-like blade pressed against his neck, its edge gleaming menacingly under the cafeteria lights. A chilling voice spoke from behind him. You dare insult my magnificent master. The owner of the voice stepped forward, a man dressed in a pristine butler uniform, his black hair contrasting against his eerily glowing yellow eyes with red pupils. Diablo. William clenched his fists and prepared to attack, but before he could move, a pale hand gently grabbed his wrist. A woman with flowing white hair and blood-red eyes smirked at him. You're not focusing on your surroundings, are you? She whispered mockingly. Diablo scoffed, unfazed. I am always aware of my surroundings, Testarossa. Oswald, enraged, began to cast a spell, but before he could finish, a sharp kick landed between his legs. A purple-haired girl grinned as he collapsed to the floor, groaning in pain. This dude is a total weakling, Ultima laughed, stepping back with amusement. Behind Yumilia, another girl's voice chimed in. Right. They're ridiculously weak. But Lady Yumilia is super strong. Yumilia turned to see Carrera standing behind her, arms crossed with an amused expression. Serafina, Ilaria, and Yumilia recognized Carrera, but the other three. Diablo, Ultima, and Testarossa were unfamiliar to them. Another voice sighed dramatically. I still don't get why Rimuru-sama even came to this world. The one who spoke was Rain. With her blue hair and eyes, she bore a striking resemblance to Serafina, yet there was something sharper, more intimidating about her presence. William, despite the situation, growled in frustration. Who the hell are you idiots? Oswald, recovering from his pain, scoffed. Do you think threatening us will scare us? Edwin glared. Who are you? Another voice cut through the room, smooth yet carrying an undeniable authority. That's enough. Every head in the cafeteria turned toward the source. Rimuru Tempest walked toward them slowly, his aura radiating an almost suffocating presence. Unlike the students in their academy uniforms, he wore a black sleeveless shirt and loose black pants. His outfit, combined with his confident yet predatory stride, made him look entirely out of place. Yet no one could deny that he was the most powerful person in the room. The moment he spoke, Diablo, Testarossa, Ultima, Carrera, and Rain immediately stepped back, lowering their heads in a deep bow. Let these idiots go, Rimuru ordered casually. The five obeyed without hesitation, releasing Edwin and the others. Edwin, Alicia, Oswald, and William stumbled slightly, clearly shaken by the experience. Rimuru turned his sharp gaze toward them, his expression unreadable. Do you guys have a brain? If Yume-chan were the demon lord, why would she wait instead of just killing everyone here? Silence fell upon Edwin and his friends. Their earlier confidence wavered. Meanwhile, Yumalia's mind raced. He called me Yume-chan again. So he's not angry. I don't know, should I ask him directly? Serafina, standing behind Yumalia, smiled proudly. That's my master. He shut them up with just a few words. Ilaria, however, clenched her fists beneath the table, her thoughts filled with frustration. Damn it. Why did Rimuru have to come at this moment? And why is Carrera here? Who are these other people? I have a bad feeling about them. Rimuru sighed and crossed his arms, looking at Edwin, Oswald, William, and Alicia as though they were nothing more than nuisances. I'm disappointed in you guys. Your mother wanted me to defeat the demon lord for you, but I refused. Do you know why? Alicia hesitated before asking, why? A slow, sinister smile spread across Rimuru's face. Because you four don't have a brain. The blunt insult sent a shiver through the crowd. Students exchanged nervous glances, some barely holding back laughter, others too scared to react. Rimuru's expression darkened. Before I order Diablo and the others to kill you, get out of my sight. The finality in his tone made it clear, he wasn't joking. Edwin, Oswald, William, and Alicia turned pale. Without another word, they hurriedly left the cafeteria, muttering curses under their breath, humiliated and seething. As they disappeared through the doors, a quiet murmur spread among the students. Did you see how scared they looked? I knew Yumalia wasn't the demon lord. This whole thing was ridiculous. But who were those people? That butler was terrifying. Rimuru-sama is even more intimidating in person. Meanwhile, Yumalia exhaled slowly, tension leaving her shoulders. Serafina smirked. As expected of Rimuru-sama, Ilaria forced a polite smile, hiding her irritation. I need to find a way to deal with Rimuru's interference. Rimuru glanced at Yumalia and smirked. Yume-chan, next time, don't bother with these idiots. Yumalia rolled her eyes. I wasn't. They just came to me with nonsense. Rimuru chuckled. Well, now they know better. And with that, the tension in the cafeteria finally began to fade, though everyone knew the aftershocks of this confrontation were far from over. After the heated exchange, Rimuru, Yumalia, Ilaria, Serafina, Diablo, Carrera, Ultima, Testarossa, and Rain made their way to the Academy's garden. The crisp air was refreshing, a stark contrast to the suffocating atmosphere of the cafeteria. The soft rustling of leaves and the scent of blooming flowers filled the space, creating a peaceful backdrop for the group's discussion. Rimuru casually took a seat on one of the stone benches, crossing his arms. Yumalia and Ilaria followed suit, sitting beside him. Behind them, Serafina stood silently, her expression calm as always. Diablo, Testarossa, Ultima, Carrera, and Rain positioned themselves nearby, their presence alone enough to create an imposing atmosphere. Serafina had only met Diablo, Testarossa, and Ultima. She found herself getting along with Carrera rather well, viewing her as a spoiled younger sister, much like how she saw Ultima. Rain, on the other hand, was more carefree and easygoing, sharing a similar disposition to Serafina, which made their dynamic more natural. However, Diablo and Testarossa saw Serafina as a rival, both vying for Rimuru's attention in their own ways. Rimuru was the first to break the silence. So, Yumalia, you said you had something to say. Yumalia nodded, her hands clenched on her lap. Are you still angry? Rimuru tilted his head. Angry? About what? Yumalia hesitated. What happened yesterday, in the hallway? Rimuru's gaze wavered before he looked away. Oh, yeah, about that. He exhaled sharply. I'm sorry. I wasn't in my right mind when that happened. Testarosa's eyes gleamed with curiosity. My lord, what might you be referring to? Diablo smirked knowingly. Isn't it obvious, Testarosa? Lady Eumelia here has fallen for our magnificent Rimuru-sama. Carrera let out a laugh. Oh, that makes sense. Lady Eumelia is so cool. Of course she'd fall for him. Ultima grinned. I don't know much about anyone here besides Serafina, but if she's strong, then she's a good match for Master. Eumelia's face turned beet red. Wait. That's not. I never said. Serafina, watching from behind, smirked slightly, but Ilaria's expression darkened. She did not like the way this was going at all. Her grip on the hem of her dress tightened. Trying to change the subject, Ilaria asked, Sir Rimuru, may I ask who these people are? I already know Carrera, but the others. Diablo took a step forward, placing a hand on his chest. I am Diablo, the primordial black, and Rimuru-sama's most devoted butler. Testarosa followed with an elegant bow. I am Testarosa, the primordial white. Ultima bounced excitedly. I'm Ultima, the primordial purple. Also, Rimuru-sama's cute little helper when it comes to, well, torturing people. Ilaria felt a shiver run down her spine. Carrera grinned. You already know me, the primordial yellow. Then, Rain casually spoke, flipping her hair. I'm Rain, the primordial blue. The most refined and composed of the group. The others immediately shot her deadpan glares. Eumelia, still recovering from her earlier embarrassment, finally gathered her thoughts and asked, so there are two more primordials out there, right? Rimuru-san once mentioned them. Diablo nodded. Indeed. Guy Crimson and Misery. Misery has chosen to remain in Tempest to watch over Lord Veldora and Lady Milam. As for Guy, well, last I checked, he was locked in his room screaming about a headache that our master caused him. But I don't know much beyond that. Rimuru sighed. Honestly, I don't want to hear about that. I came here to avoid my responsibilities for a while. Testarosa smiled warmly. As you wish, master. There is nothing to worry about. Rimuru then turned to Eumelia. So, what are you planning to do now? Eumelia exhaled slowly. I don't know. I want to stay away from Alicia and figure out why she's so determined to call me the Demon Lord. Rimuru frowned. Who knows, it almost feels like she has memories of a past life and is acting on them. Eumelia froze. Memories of a past life. For a brief moment, everything clicked in her mind. She suddenly stood up, determination flashing in her eyes. I need to go. I'll see you later. Before anyone could question her, she turned and ran off. Rimuru blinked. What just happened? Ilaria folded her hands in her lap. Who knows? But I believe Miss Eumelia realized something important. Rimuru shrugged. Well, good for her. He stood up and stretched. I'm going back to my room. He turned and walked away, followed closely by Serafina, Carrera, Ultima, Testarosa, Rain, and Diablo. Meanwhile, Ilaria remained seated, her expression darkening as she watched Rimuru and the others leave. TCH. More primordials. One was already too much, but now I have to deal with 5 of them. This is becoming problematic. I need to find a way to control Rimuru. I've had enough of this good girl act. Unknown to her, a certain entity was watching closely. Less than interesting. I would love to see what she does with those misfit eyes of hers. Greater than. A soft chuckle echoed in the void of Rimuru's subspace. Less than it's not a problem to keep a few details hidden from my beloved master. Greater than. The voice, Seal, laughed softly once more, her curiosity piqued. Less than I'm looking forward to seeing what those eyes of hers can do personally. He. Greater than. Perched atop the academy building, Eumelia narrowed her eyes as she observed Alicia, who was currently with Edwin. She hoped that Rimuru's impression of Alicia was right, but deep down, a nagging suspicion wouldn't leave her mind. If this is true, then. She hesitated, shaking her head. No. Let's just watch first. There's no way Alicia is a reincarnator like me. She continued observing as Alicia and William walked together, with William assisting her in carrying water buckets while she watered the flowers and trees. The scene seemed innocent, almost too perfect. In the game, Alicia was the heroine. The chosen one. The only person with magic capable of killing me. If she's another reincarnator. Eumelia tensed. Then things are about to get much more difficult and dangerous. She kept watching Alicia closely. A while later, Yumilia followed her into the library, where she was now with Oswald, reading and helping fix bookshelves. Alicia appeared kind-hearted, helpful, and graceful, just like in the game. But something about her felt off. She's following the script perfectly, Yumilia thought, her fingers curling slightly. But there's something I can't quite place. Her gaze followed Alicia once more as she left the library and wandered into the academy's garden. There, Alicia knelt down, gently scratching behind the ears of a white cat that purred in contentment. Who's a good boy? She cooed, mimicking a soft meow. Maya, my AWW. The cat responded with an equally affectionate, Maya, before nuzzling against her hand. Alicia giggled before finally rising to her feet. I'll be going now. I have some work to do, she said before walking away. Yumilia, still hiding in the trees, exhaled softly. She left. After a moment's hesitation, she gracefully jumped down, landing near the cat. She watched it for a moment before kneeling down. Cute cat. Feeling somewhat playful, she imitated Alicia's earlier action. Maya, my AWW. The cat blinked at her, tilting its head as if contemplating something. Then, all at once, its fur bristled, and it let out an ear-piercing scream. MYYAAAAAWWWWW. It bolted, disappearing into the bushes at a speed Yumilia hadn't expected. Her expression darkened. Even cats are scared of me. Just then, she sensed someone watching her. Slowly, she turned around, only to freeze upon seeing Rimuru and a gray-haired boy standing near a stone pillar. For a long moment, no one spoke. Yumilia flushed. What are you two looking at? Neither Rimuru nor the boy answered. Instead, they silently pointed in the direction the cat had run. Feeling utterly embarrassed, Yumilia turned a deeper shade of red. I was just trying to. She trailed off before shaking her head. Never mind. I'll be going. With that, she hurriedly walked away, trying to ignore the amused look on Rimuru's face. After she left, Patrick, the gray-haired boy, let out a sigh. When did you get here? Rimuru smirked. Since you started looking at Yumichan. Patrick frowned. Quote. Okay then. I'm going. As he turned to leave, Rimuru spoke casually. I'm not giving Yumichan to you, Patrick. Just remember that. Patrick paused for a split second before continuing on his way. That's not for you to decide, Rimuru Tempest. Rimuru remained where he was, smiling knowingly as he watched him disappear. How interesting. Inside his mind, Ciel's voice echoed with playful amusement. Less than master, it seems something is wrong with this world. Greater than. Rimuru frowned. What do you mean? Less than I'm still unsure, but I will find out soon enough. Greater than. Rimuru sighed. Fine. I believe in you, Cielchan. Less than oh my, such sweet words. You really know how to make a girl feel special, master. Greater than. Rimuru chuckled. I should, considering how much time we spend together. Ciel let out a seductive hum. Less than. That's true. And yet, you still haven't spoiled me properly, master. Should I be jealous of Yumilia? Greater than. Rimuru smirked. Are you asking me to spoil you, Cielchan? Less than Fufu, I wonder. If you keep whispering such things, I might just start demanding it. Greater than. Rimuru chuckled, feeling the familiar warmth of Ciel's presence wrapping around him like a teasing embrace. Then I'll have to prepare myself, won't I? Less than oh, master, you truly are the worst. But I wouldn't have you any other way. Greater than. Her voice was laced with playful mischief, and Rimuru couldn't help but smile. With a soft sigh, he let his presence fade from the area, disappearing into the shadows. Meanwhile, Yumilia wandered the academy grounds, grumbling to herself. Where did she go? She muttered, her violet eyes scanning the surroundings. Just as she was about to give up, she heard Alicia's voice from a nearby building. Peering upward, she spotted Alicia and Prince Edwin conversing on the second floor. Found her. Without hesitation, Yumilia leapt gracefully to the window ledge, perching herself just out of sight. She watched them carefully, her breath steady, her presence completely hidden. Why do you believe that Yumilia is the demon lord? Edwin asked, his expression serious. Alicia frowned slightly, hesitating before responding. I don't know. Every time I see her, I just get this feeling. Something about her. It's unsettling. Edwin sighed. According to my father, Yumilia is strong, but not evil. I'm still not sure about her being the demon lord, but one thing is clear, she has no desire to kill any of us. He paused before adding, but Rimuru, he's different. Yumilia tensed slightly at the mention of Rimuru. Rimuru. Alicia echoed. Think about it. He has incredibly strong subordinates, immense power, and he even took the title of Demon Lord for himself. Not to mention, he refused my mother's offer to help us defeat the Demon Lord, Edwin reasoned. Alicia, deep in thought, took out a piece of paper and began drawing. When she was finished, she held it up for Edwin to see. This is how I see Sir Rimuru. Edwin examined the drawing. A figure split down the middle, one side light and the other dark. Then, Alicia started drawing another image. And this is how I see Yumilia-chan. She turned the paper around. All that was visible were two white eyes against a pitch-black background. Edwin frowned. Maybe it's because Yumilia has dark magic. And for Rimuru, perhaps you see that because he wields both light and dark magic. Alicia smiled her usual warm, heroine-like smile. Maybe you're right, Edwinkin. Yumilia exhaled silently. So she suspects me because of how light magic reacts to dark magic. That actually makes sense, she thought. But just as she was about to relax, Alicia muttered something under her breath. Yumilia's heightened senses picked it up instantly. Still, though, Yumilia annoys me. I have to do something about her. Edwin, oblivious, turned to her. Did you say something, Alicia? She gave him an angelic smile. Nothing at all. I just said that you must be right. Edwin, like the fool he was, fell for it. Yumilia narrowed her eyes. So, she doesn't like me. I'll have to watch her closely. After parting ways with Edwin, Alicia strolled down a quiet hallway. Yumilia followed her silently, keeping her distance. Where is she going? This isn't the way to her room. Yumilia thought. Alicia continued walking until she reached a dark corner of the hallway. Yumilia hid in the shadows, watching carefully. Suddenly, a figure materialized before Alicia, a girl with long black hair and piercing purple eyes. Yumilia's eyes widened slightly. She feels like Rimuru's subordinates, like a primordial demon, but weaker. The girl spoke first. How did it go? Alicia sighed. It didn't work. No one believes that she's the demon lord. The girl's eyes narrowed. You had one job, and you failed. I'm sorry Lyra-chan, Alicia said, frowning. But as long as Rimuru is by Yumilia's side, I don't think I can turn people against her. The girl, Lyra, sighed. Fine. I'll report this to my master. But try harder. Make Yumilia look evil. Alicia hesitated. Lyra-chan, I don't know. Rimuru is much stronger than Yumilia. What if things go wrong? Yumilia focused on the conversation. Lyra. So that's her name. And their master. Who could they be talking about? Lyra smirked. If this Rimuru person is stronger than Yumilia, that means he'd make the best vassal for our master. Alicia gave an odd smile. I'll be careful, all right. Lyra nodded, stepping back as a swirling green portal opened behind her. She stepped through, disappearing. Alicia sighed. Now I have to deal with both Rimuru and Yumilia. With that, she turned and walked away. Yumilia waited until Alicia was completely gone before stepping out from her hiding spot. She examined the area where the portal had opened but found nothing. This is nothing like the game I played in my past life. Alicia isn't the heroine. She's the villain. How ironic. The supposed villainess is the good one, and the heroine is the manipulator. She exhaled deeply. Should I tell Rimuru-san? After a moment of thought, she shook her head. No, not yet. I need more proof. With that, Yumilia turned on her heel and made her way back to her room, determined to uncover the true nature of Alicia and the mysterious Lyra. Especially the master they talking about. The soft glow of morning light filtered through the curtains of the academy dormitory, casting golden streaks across the lavish bedroom. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of fresh linen and subtle floral perfumes. Rimuru stirred, his long, silken black hair spilling over the pillows in waves. His androgynous yet strikingly beautiful face remained serene, framed by strands of midnight black, contrasting with the golden hue of his slightly narrowed eyes. His well-built yet refined physique was relaxed beneath the soft blankets, muscles subtly defined under the morning light. With a lazy stretch, he exhaled. Morning already. Huh, he muttered, his voice husky from sleep. But just as he moved to sit up, something soft pressed against his side. Warm, supple, definitely not fabric. His entire body froze. His golden eyes flicked downward, his mind already dreading the realization. Slowly, cautiously, he lifted the blanket, only to be greeted by a mess of blue hair, golden eyes fluttering open with a sleepy gleam, and a bare shoulder peeking from beneath the covers. Serafina. Not only was his personal maid lying next to him, but she was completely undressed. Rimuru's brain momentarily short-circuited. WWHA. Serafina. Why are you? His voice cracked as he scrambled to move, heat rushing to his face. Serafina, in contrast, only stretched like a satisfied cat, her golden eyes half-lidded and filled with amusement. Good morning, master, she purred, her voice sultry, as if she had done nothing wrong. Rimuru hastily grabbed the blanket to cover her, but that only made things worse, because she deliberately leaned closer, pressing against his side. I should be the one asking why you're in my bed. No, why you're naked in my bed. Rimuru sputtered, trying to maintain some semblance of composure. Serafina blinked lazily before offering a mischievous smile. I had a dream, master, a very interesting one. And when I woke up, I felt lonely, so I came to sleep with you. Rimuru swore his soul nearly left his body. Serafina, that's not an excuse to. Before he could finish, she shifted, pushing him back down onto the bed, her golden eyes gleaming with amusement. No need to get up so soon, master, she whispered, trailing a delicate finger down his chest. Your class can wait, can't it? Rimuru stiffened. Serafina leaned in, their faces mere inches apart, her breath warm against his skin. Or, would you rather me help you wake up properly? Rimuru could feel the smirk in her voice. His mind screamed at him to push her away, but his body. Well, it betrayed him slightly. You're really testing my patience, Serafina, Rimuru muttered, his own lips curving into a playful smirk. He saw her smile widen. But before she could pull away, he swiftly flipped the situation, grabbing her by the waist and pulling her closer until their lips were mere centimeters apart. Her breath hitched. You like teasing me, huh? Rimuru murmured, his voice dropping lower. Serafina's confidence wavered for a split second, her cheeks darkening. Then, how about a little payback? And without waiting for an answer, Rimuru closed the gap, his lips pressing against hers in a slow, deliberate kiss. Serafina's body stiffened, her hands gripping onto his bare shoulders for support. For once, she was the one caught off guard. Rimuru smirked against her lips. Victory. But of course, his triumph was short-lived. The door swung open with an audible click. Sir Rimuru, Princess Ilaria has come to. A chorus of voices suddenly filled the room. Testarossa, Carrera, Ultima, Rain, and Diablo stood at the entrance, their eyes immediately locking onto the rather compromising situation before them. Rimuru, shirtless, on top of a flushed Serafina, both of them barely covered by the blanket. Silence. Then, Testarossa smiled knowingly. Rain covered her mouth, stifling laughter. Ultima and Carrera blinked in unison, looking utterly confused. And Diablo. Oh, he was glowing with pride. Ah, as expected of Rimuru-sama. To think you would already claim your maid first thing in the morning, truly magnificent. Diablo, shut up. Rimuru snapped, his face burning. Testarossa, ever composed, turned to the others. Let's give them some privacy, shall we? Without another word, the demons stepped back, closing the door behind them. That only left one person. Ilaria. She stood in the doorway, her expression carefully composed, but Rimuru could see the irritation flicker behind her perfectly crafted innocent smile. Sir Rimuru, she began, her voice laced with just the right amount of disappointment. Can you explain this? Rimuru groaned internally. It's not what it looks like, he tried, sitting up. Serafina, completely unbothered, stretched beside him, making the whole situation look exactly like what it looked like. Ilaria crossed her arms, her innocent act never wavering. You expect me to believe that when I find you in bed with your maid, barely dressed. Before Rimuru could respond, Serafina casually leaned against him, tilting her head with a coy smile. Oh my, Princess Ilaria, jealous, are we? Ilaria's smile twitched. I am not jealous, she insisted, voice slightly strained. I merely think it's improper for Rimuru-sama to. Serafina giggled. Relax, princess. I'm only doing my duty as his personal maid. Rimuru could practically see Ilaria's fingers twitch as she forced her usual sweet smile back into place. Inside his mind, Ciel's voice chimed in, amusement laced in her tone. Less than my master, you're quite the troublemaker. You really should take responsibility for making Serafina so needy, greater than. Rimuru mentally sighed. Not you too, Ciel. Less than Fufu, but I am enjoying watching you squirm. Maybe next time, you should invite me as well. Greater than. Rimuru nearly choked. Oh, for the love of. Ilaria let out an exasperated sigh. Honestly, Sir Rimuru, I expected more from you. Yeah, Rimuru muttered, rubbing his temples. He was not in the mood to deal with her fake concerns. Ilaria's sweet facade never wavered, but Rimuru could see it. The frustration, the barely concealed irritation. She was still trying to control him. Still failing. And he wasn't going to let her succeed. With a smirk, Rimuru stretched, deliberately wrapping an arm around Serafina's waist. Ilaria, if that's all, I need to get dressed now. Unless you want to stay and watch. Ilaria's face twitched ever so slightly. I'll take my leave, she said through gritted teeth before turning and walking out. Serafina giggled. Oh, master, you're so cruel. Rimuru sighed. I swear, you and Ciel are gonna kill me one day. Less than oh. Don't worry, master, if I do kill you, I'll make sure it's in the most pleasurable way possible, greater than. I really need a drink. And with that, the chaos of his morning continued. Meanwhile, Yumilia. The soft morning light spilled into the elegantly furnished room, illuminating its delicate decor with a golden hue. The scent of freshly brewed tea lingered in the air, mixing with the faint aroma of cherry blossoms wafting from the open window. Seated by the window, Yumilia gently cradled a porcelain teacup in her hands. Her long, midnight black hair cascaded over her shoulders like a silken veil, contrasting beautifully with her fair skin. She took a slow sip, her dark eyes reflecting quiet contemplation. Standing beside her was Lysandra, her ever-dutiful maid. The woman had a graceful demeanor, her movements polished from years of experience. With a soft smile, she observed her lady's unusual silence. My lady, Lysandra finally spoke, her tone gentle but inquisitive. Are you still thinking about Sir Rimuru? Yumilia's hand twitched, and for a brief second, a faint blush dusted her cheeks. However, she quickly recovered, averting her gaze. No. Rimuru-san and I are on good terms again, she said, a little too quickly, setting down her teacup. It's just, I find something suspicious, and I want to know more about it. Lysandra tilted her head slightly, curiosity gleaming in her eyes. Suspicious. What might that be, my lady? Yumilia hesitated for a moment before finally answering, it's about Alicia. She acts as if she wants to antagonize me, but I don't understand why. Lysandra's brows furrowed. Are you certain, my lady? Yumilia nodded firmly. Yesterday, I followed her discreetly, and I overheard her speaking with someone about causing trouble for me. Lysandra pressed a hand to her chin in thought. Would you like me to look into this matter further? Yumilia shook her head, offering a small smile. No, don't worry about it. I was just thinking out loud. However, Lysandra wasn't done teasing her just yet. A smirk tugged at the maid's lips as she leaned in slightly. Well, my lady, even if someone is plotting against you, you could always run away with Sir Rimuru, no? The words hit Yumilia harder than expected. Her entire face turned crimson, and she nearly knocked over her teacup. What? That's not. I mean, I wouldn't, she stammered before looking away, fidgeting with her fingers. Maybe you're right. Lysandra chuckled at her lady's rare flustered expression. Oh my lady. You're not even denying it. Yumilia huffed, standing up abruptly. Anyway, I should be heading out now. Lysandra, still smiling, bowed slightly. I suggest getting closer to Sir Rimuru. Who knows? Something special may happen in the near future. Yumilia rolled her eyes but couldn't hide the small smile forming on her lips. Maybe, maybe not. Let's leave that to the future. And with that, she exited the room, her heart still fluttering from Lysandra's teasing. As Yumilia made her way through the academy halls, the gentle morning sun illuminated the marble corridors, casting long, golden shadows. Before she could reach the classroom, she spotted two familiar figures approaching her. Yumilia, good morning. She turned to see her two new friends, both smiling brightly at her. Good morning, she greeted them, feeling a warmth in her chest. The two girls, Anna and Lilian, had become close to her in a surprisingly short time. Unlike many others at the academy, they treated her with genuine kindness, unbothered by her mysterious origins or status. As they walked side by side, Yumilia hesitated for a moment before speaking. Do you two think I might be a demon lord? Anna and Lilian exchanged confused glances before looking back at her. What? Why would you even think that? Anna asked. Well, Yumilia trailed off, fidgeting slightly. Because of what happened in the cafeteria yesterday. People were looking at me differently after that incident. Lilian waved her hand dismissively. So what? That doesn't mean you're a demon lord. Anna nodded in agreement. Even if you were, we wouldn't mind. You're still our friend. Yumilia's heart clenched at their words. After her reincarnation, these two were the first true friends she had made aside from Rimuru. She felt happy. A rare, genuine smile graced her lips. Thank you. No problem, Lilian replied cheerfully. Let's walk to class together. As they continued down the corridor, the conversation became more lively. Anna nudged Yumilia playfully. By the way, I'm sitting next to you today. Lilian pouted. Hey, even if Rimuru-sama or Princess Ilaria ask for the seat, we're not giving it up. The three girls burst into laughter. Ilaria might be polite about it, but I bet Rimuru-san would just pout and tease us, Yumilia mused, her expression softening. Lilian smirked. Speaking of Rimuru-sama, he's quite close to you, isn't he? Yumilia blinked. I don't think so. Anna giggled. Come on, Yumilia. You can't be that dense. Lilian leaned in with a teasing grin. Do you like Rimuru-sama? Yumilia's face turned pink, and she looked away quickly. I don't know, she muttered, suddenly feeling flustered. He's important to me, but. Anna and Lilian exchanged knowing looks. Lilian smirked. Uzu. Sure. Anna giggled. It's okay, Yumilia. If you don't realize it yet, we'll just wait for you to figure it out. Yumilia groaned, covering her face with her hands. You two are impossible. Lilian nudged her. And you're adorable when you're flustered. As the three of them walked together, chatting and laughing, Yumilia felt something she hadn't truly felt in a long time. Warmth. Acceptance. Happiness. For the first time in a while, she wasn't just Yumilia, the reincarnated noble with secrets. She was simply Yumilia, their friend. And as they approached the classroom, she thought to herself. Maybe, this new life isn't so bad after all. 2 days later. The past 2 days had been surprisingly uneventful. No major incidents, no dramatic confrontations, just a somewhat tense but peaceful atmosphere at the academy. Though nothing significant had occurred, an unexpected rivalry had begun brewing. For some reason, Rimuru and a boy named Patrick had taken to acting like rivals. The reason? No one quite knew, not even Yumilia, who had started noticing the odd tension between them. On the surface, things seemed normal. The academy students no longer treated Yumilia as a demon lord, nor did they outright antagonize Rimuru despite his claim to the title. After all, the king himself had acknowledged Rimuru's status, making it official. That alone was enough to silence most who would dare question him. But now, both Rimuru and Yumilia found themselves seated inside the principal's office. The office had changed slightly since the last time either of them had been here. The reason? The king had personally replaced the former principal with someone new, specifically because of Rimuru and Yumilia. The man sitting before them had short blonde hair, a calm expression, and didn't appear to be older than 24. He exuded a composed and capable aura, one fitting for his new position. Rimuru leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, and sighed. So, why did you call both of us here? The principal laced his fingers together, his gaze shifting between them. I called you here to discuss something important. Yumilia tilted her head slightly. What might that be? The principal leaned forward slightly. Tomorrow, our students will be heading into the forest for training. Both Yumilia and Rimuru blinked in mild surprise before exchanging glances. Training? They asked in unison. The principal nodded. You see, many of our students lack combat experience. Though they train in spells and fighting techniques, it doesn't compare to real battles. That's why we arrange these training expeditions. Rimuru narrowed his eyes slightly. And, the principal sighed, I'm asking both of you to accompany them and help ensure they grow stronger. If anything dangerous happens, I'd like you to protect them. Rimuru let out another sigh, resting his cheek against his hand. So basically, you want us to be their bodyguards. The principal remained silent, neither confirming nor denying it. Yumilia tapped her fingers against the table thoughtfully. Why not take them to a dungeon instead? The principal shook his head. I wouldn't put students in such danger. The forest is a much safer training ground. He leaned back in his chair, his expression softening. This isn't an order. I'm asking for a favor from both of you. Yumilia thought about it for a moment before nodding. Lilian and Anna are going, right? The principal nodded. Then, fine, Yumilia said, crossing her arms. Rimuru stretched lazily and smirked. Well, since my beloved Yumichen agreed, I suppose I'm up for it too. The principal blinked. Beloved. Yumilia sighed. He likes to tease me. Rimuru grinned. Well, that's one reason. The principal sighed. Jokes aside, I truly appreciate this. Both Rimuru and Yumilia stood up. We'll be going then, Rimuru said casually. As the two left the office, the principal leaned back in his chair, rubbing his temples. If those two ever have a child, I can't even begin to imagine what kind of monster it would grow up to be. As they walked through the academy corridors, Rimuru smirked at Yumilia. So, you agreed because of Lilian and Anna, huh? He teased. Yumilia crossed her arms and turned her head away slightly. Of course. I want to make sure they're safe. Rimuru chuckled. Ah, you're such a good friend, Yumichen. Yumilia shot him a look. Stop calling me that. But it suits you so well, Rimuru said, winking playfully. Yumilia sighed. You're impossible. Rimuru shrugged. And yet, you still hang around me. She had no argument against that. After a brief moment of silence, Yumilia glanced at Rimuru. Rimuru-san, can I ask you something? Anything for Yumichen. Yumilia frowned at the nickname but continued. What do you think about Alicia? Rimuru groaned immediately. That girl is a pain in the ass. Yumilia blinked. Why? Rimuru raised an eyebrow. Why are you asking? I just have a strange feeling about her, but nothing concrete. Rimuru smirked. You wanna investigate her? I can help. Yumilia shook her head. No, it's just a feeling. Nothing big. Rimuru shrugged. If you say so. As they continued walking, they suddenly ran into Lilian and Anna. The two girls immediately looked surprised to see them together. What are you two doing together at this time? Lilian asked with a teasing smile. Anna whispered to Lilian, this is the best time to see if Yumilia really likes Rimuru or not. Lilian smirked. Agreed. Turning back to Rimuru, Lilian smiled mischievously. Rimuru-sama, can I ask a favor? Rimuru tilted his head. Depends. What is it? Anna grinned. Pin Yumilia to the wall and make her embarrassed. Yumilia's eyes widened in shock. HHUH. Before she could react, Rimuru smirked and swiftly moved. With fluid ease, he placed his hands against the wall, caging Yumilia between his arms. Their faces were close. Too close. Their breaths mixed in the air, and Yumilia could feel the heat radiating from him. Her heart pounded wildly. Stop it, she whispered, her cheeks burning. Anna grinned. So, Yumilia, what do you think about Rimuru? Yumilia looked away. Nothing. Lilian giggled. This is the best time to speak, you know. Rimuru leaned in slightly, whispering softly, Yumichen, you have good friends, you know. Yumilia felt her heart skip a beat. Still blushing, she gave a small nod. But before the teasing could continue, a sudden scream echoed through the hallway. Everyone turned in surprise, spotting a girl running away. Alicia. Lilian frowned. What's with her? Rimuru shrugged. Who knows? Lilian crossed her arms. I don't like how she acts all cute and innocent. Before they could dwell on Alicia's strange behavior, a boy walked past them. Rimuru's gaze shifted toward him. A gray-haired boy. Patrick. The boy stopped for a brief moment, locking eyes with Rimuru. A silent challenge passed between them. Patrick's eyes held a death glare, but Rimuru only smirked. The rivalry between them was clear. Though no one else knew, both Rimuru and Patrick had already acknowledged it. A silent, unspoken battle for Yumilia Dolkness. Yumilia was still pinned against the wall, her face flushed as she struggled to regain her composure. Rimuru, ever the teasing devil, remained close, his smirk never fading. The warmth of his breath ghosted over her skin, making her heart pound even faster. Then, a voice interrupted the moment. Oh my, what's going on here? Did Yumilia-san finally confess her feelings to Rimuru-san? Everyone turned toward the source of the voice. Standing there with an amused smile was Eleonora, accompanied by a few of her friends. Yumilia's eyes widened in panic. Eleonora-san. This is not what it looks like. She stammered. Rimuru, seeing a perfect opportunity, leaned in slightly and placed a teasing kiss against Yumilia's neck. But it is, though, he murmured, his tone dripping with mischief. Yumilia's entire face burned as she pushed against him. That's enough teasing me, you idiot. Lilian and Anna, who had been enjoying the show, finally stepped in. All right, Rimuru-sama, that's enough, Lilian said, chuckling. Anna smirked. Thanks to you, we got a good reaction out of Yumilia. Rimuru grinned. Anytime. Eleonora, still watching with interest, tilted her head. Rimuru-san, do you love Yumilia-san? Without hesitation, Rimuru smiled and replied, of course. Yumilia turned toward him in shock. He's just teasing. But Eleonora and her friends completely ignored her protests, continuing their conversation as if Yumilia wasn't even there. Yumilia-san is really lucky, one of Eleonora's friends said. Eleonora nodded in agreement. She found a man who not only protects her but also isn't afraid to express his feelings. Another friend sighed dreamily. A love like that is rare. Yumilia was still too flustered to say anything, and Rimuru, enjoying the moment, only chuckled. After a bit more teasing and discussion about love, Eleonora finally stepped closer to Yumilia and gently patted her head. Yumilia-san, you found the best man for your life. Yumilia blinked, too overwhelmed to respond. With a satisfied smile, Eleonora turned to leave. Well then, we'll be going. Bye. With that, Eleonora and her friends walked away, leaving behind Yumilia, Rimuru, Lilian, and Anna. Lilian, still grinning, turned to Rimuru. Sir Rimuru, we're borrowing Yumilia for a little while. Rimuru sighed dramatically. Fine, but don't tease her too much. Leave me some for later. Lilian and Anna laughed. No promises, Anna said, before linking arms with Yumilia and dragging her away. Rimuru watched them go, smirking at Yumilia's flustered expression. Once they were gone, Rimuru sighed and stretched. Well, now I'm alone. Just then, Ciel's voice echoed in his mind. Less than, Master, what will you do now? Greater than. Rimuru placed his hands behind his head. Just walk around, I guess. Where are Diablo, Testarossa, and the others? Less than, they are in your room with Serafina, discussing something important. Greater than. Rimuru nodded. I see. Well, all. But then, Ciel dropped a bombshell. Less than, by the way, I also revealed myself to them. Greater than. Rimuru's foot slipped, and he almost fell flat on his face. Quote. You what? Ciel's tone was calm, as if she hadn't just casually revealed one of his biggest secrets. Less than, Serafina had to know about me sooner or later. It was only a matter of time. Greater than. Rimuru ran a hand down his face, exhaling sharply. You could have warned me first. Ciel chuckled. Less than, would you have allowed it if I had asked? Greater than. Rimuru paused. Quote. Probably not. Less than, exactly. Greater than. Rimuru sighed in defeat. You're impossible. Less than, you love me for it. Greater than. Rimuru rolled his eyes but couldn't deny it. Fine. So, what's Serafina's reaction? Less than, she was quite fascinated. I must say, she is very perceptive. Greater than. Rimuru rubbed his temples. Great. Just great. And you did all this without telling me. Seal decided to change the topic, her tone turning teasing. Less than, oh, master, why are you so flustered? Is it because of what happened with Serafina in bed? Or perhaps what just happened with Yumilia? Greater than. Rimuru twitched. You're really trying to change the subject, aren't you? Less than, maybe. But I must say, you've been rather bold lately. First Serafina, now Yumilia. Are you collecting wives everywhere you go? Greater than. Rimuru groaned. You're impossible. Less than, and yet, you still keep me around. Greater than. Rimuru sighed again and continued walking. As Rimuru walked through the academy, a sudden chill ran down his spine. Something was off. His senses sharpened, his eyes narrowing. Then, he felt it. Something cold passing by, almost ghost-like, before stopping in one place. He didn't hesitate. Summoning a dagger in his hand, he swiftly threw it toward the source of the strange presence. The dagger embedded itself into the wall with a sharp thud. Rimuru scanned the area carefully. There was nothing there. No one. But as he approached the dagger, he noticed something unusual. A small drop of blood. His expression darkened. Someone was here, and now they were injured. Yet, despite his keen senses, he couldn't detect anything. Whoever they were, they had already run off and hidden themselves. Rimuru pulled the dagger from the wall, inspecting the faint trace of blood. Whoever it was, they're strong, he murmured. Stronger than the current form of his avatar. His gaze lingered on the empty corridor for a few moments before he turned away. Something was going on. And whoever was walking through this academy. They weren't just an ordinary person. Night had fallen over the academy, shrouding the dormitories in an eerie silence. A cold breeze slipped through the slightly open window, making the curtains sway like ghostly figures. The moon's pale light illuminated the lonely figure sitting beside the window, Alicia. Her short pink hair, streaked with green, framed her delicate face as she stared out into the darkness. Her green eyes, usually filled with artificial warmth in front of others, now burned with frustration and resentment. Her mind was in turmoil. Rimuru and Yumilia. The mere thought of them made her stomach twist with disgust. No matter what she did, Yumilia always ended up back in Rimuru's favor. No matter how much she tried to isolate, humiliate, or push Yumilia into making a mistake, the girl always remained standing. Worse yet, Rimuru, a man far too perceptive, had begun paying close attention to her actions. She wanted them both gone. Yet, she couldn't move recklessly. Not when her connection to Lyra was on the line. Alicia bit her lip, gripping the edge of her nightgown. Failing her tasks too many times would mean breaking her contract. And she couldn't allow that. Suddenly, the air in the middle of her room distorted. A ripple, dark and unnatural, formed out of nothingness. And then, she appeared. A tall girl with long, flowing black hair and piercing purple eyes. Her presence was overwhelming, carrying an aura of danger that sent chills down Alicia's spine despite their partnership. Lyra. Alicia exhaled slowly, forcing herself to remain calm. You're here. Lyra gave a short nod. Yes. Alicia immediately noticed something was off. The usually composed demon had a strange stiffness to her movements. Then, Lyra spoke again, her voice colder than usual. But I must say, this Rimuru person you spoke of is far more dangerous than I anticipated. Alicia's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Lyra said nothing at first. Instead, she turned her head slightly, revealing her neck. Alicia's breath caught in her throat. A deep, gaping cut ran across Lyra's skin. Dark, demonic blood had dried around it, but what shocked Alicia the most was the wound itself. It wasn't healing. Alicia shot up from her seat, eyes wide in panic. What happened? How did you get injured? Lyra's voice remained eerily steady. Tonight, I walked past that Rimuru person. Somehow, he noticed me. In that moment, before I could even react, he threw a dagger at me. Alicia's hands clenched into fists. I thought you were supposed to be a high-level demon. How could you let him injure you? Lyra's gaze darkened. I teleported away the moment he attacked. And yet, that dagger still injured me. No ordinary weapon should have been able to do this. But that one. She touched her wound lightly. It's not healing. Alicia felt a cold dread settle in her stomach. If Rimuru could wound a demon of Lyra's caliber so easily, what did that mean for her? She took a deep breath. No, she wouldn't let fear stop her. What do we do about it? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Lyra's lips curled into a thin smile. My master has devised a plan. One that might work. Alicia hesitated. The mere mention of Lyra's master always sent a shiver down her spine. She had never seen them, nor did she know their true identity. But their influence was undeniable. And what exactly is this plan? Alicia finally asked. Lyra reached into the folds of her dark robe and pulled out a small, bone-white flute. Here, she said, holding it out. Alicia took it, examining the intricate carvings on its surface. The moment her fingers touched it, a faint, sinister aura seeped into her skin. A monster flute. Alicia frowned. Lyra's expression remained unreadable. This is no ordinary one. You'll understand when you use it. Alicia's grip tightened around the flute. And when exactly should I use it? Tomorrow. Lyra's purple eyes gleamed. During the training in the forest. Alicia considered it a monster flute powerful enough to change the tides in her favor. It was tempting. And if it truly worked as Lyra claimed, Yumilia wouldn't be able to escape this time. A slow, calculating smile spread across Alicia's lips. I see, this might be interesting. Lyra turned, preparing to leave. I'll be going, then. Alicia, despite herself, felt a rare moment of concern. Be careful, she said, softer than before. Lyra's eyes flickered with amusement. Worried about me? Alicia scoffed. Don't flatter yourself. With that, Lyra nodded once before vanishing into the shadows. The room fell silent again. Alicia stared down at the flute in her hands, its eerie aura pulsing faintly. Then, she let out a quiet chuckle. Her green eyes gleamed with malice as she whispered. Let's see how you survive this, Yumilia. Her fingers tightened around the flute, as if already savoring the destruction it would bring. After all, she wasn't just some ordinary girl. She was Alicia Ennilt, ones who play the role of the villainess. And this time, she would win.